This is my Syngonium alba, which has seen better days. In fact, most of its days were better days, and it's desperately in need of some work, which I'm going to do today. Hello, my name's Palisa. Welcome to Plants and Things, where I talk about plants and things. So it has been more than a year since I took out a video, and yes, I decided to just jump back in, and this Syngonium alba gave me the perfect opportunity to do so because it's looking really crusty. It's looking so bad, and this is one of my favorite plants. It is a plant, one of the first few rare plants that I got, and I got it for super cheap, and it was one cutting, and I've just been enjoying watching this grow. It did the whole thing, which I explained so many times, where when a plant just grows more than one, is that a stem? What? All the plant words need to come back into my brain. Not that, now I'm like thinking back about it, but I would often also forget words back then. But anyway, when it like grows more than one vine from a vine, because obviously when you're growing the plant, not obviously, but when you're growing a plant, it does generally grow one vine out. And so this one, love it, love it. Just a picture of God, because it grew I had 3 vines growing from this that I would turn around, and it's been really great. But the past year in my plant keeping has been very much, wow. The words are like, oh my goodness. It has been very much like my YouTubing, which is like barely existent. So this plant has been trying, I've just been basically just trying to keep the plants alive. Did very little repotting. I did repot this plant, and now I'm facing a different problem where I think the plant is just drying out too much. There's a lot going on, and yeah, it's not looking good. And I think I don't want to say checking out, but things started going bad because it would grow lopsided. I think it started going bad because it used to live in this spot, and it was like nice and cute and tiny and lived there, and then now it's just grown wild, and I have not been able to get on top of things. I am getting back, much like my YouTubing, I'm getting back into taking care of my plants, getting on top of things, and this is the first thing to get on top of. Usually I do take this vine around. I did have a whole video about it where I spoke about what I do with this plant, which is one of my faves, still my faves, still want us to go back to the good times. I think the tricky thing with this method also is, no, I'm gonna stop myself, because it's not the method. It's the fact that I don't turn my plants around enough, and then by the time by the time I notice the problem, it's grown so lopsided the other side, and then it's just so difficult to go back. So I need to chop this up. I'm giving it the big chop, and then I'm gonna leave it in this pot. Maybe get it a different. I feel like maybe a different, but this is quite deep, because one of my things, because I have become such a sporadic waterer of plants. Like when I started having plants, I used to water them with such consistency. Too much, in fact, too much. My plants were sick and tired of me and watering them. And now I'm barely keeping on top of things because I do have a lot more plants, and watering is work. It really is work. And at a point I wanted, and I think this would be the most helpful thing for me to actually do, is to have a watering schedule. And I'm like, okay, this day you water this section. So I know it's like 30 minutes and then I'm done, like have a watering schedule. That's actually, I should write that down. That should be one of my goals for this year, is to have a watering schedule for my plants. But before we get to watering schedule, we do need to get this plant, I need to get on top of this plant. And I have no soil in this house right now. So I just really decided I'm just going to chop the plant. And actually, now that I'm thinking about it, the vines, because some of them don't have leaves. So usually when they don't have leaves, I feel like I must plant them immediately, and then I do put them in a greenhouse situation, in a like propagation box, which is basically like a greenhouse. But since I don't have soil, I actually think I can just put them back in this planter, and then have it be a much fuller plant, and then be on top of turning the plant around. I need to be on top of that. So that's basically what I'm going to do today. I'm going to be chopping all of this and chopping all of this as far back as we began, chopping it back, and then seeing how far. Actually, I think a fun thing to do would be to unravel it first to see how far it's gone. But then I wonder whether I'm just like, I would be creating mess and trying to do that, because this is so coiled together. There's like, I've had to put things through the fence because I have this trellis that it's been a mission, but I think that would be a fun little thing to try do. But yes, still very much love this plant. It's just been overly dried. It is sitting on this table, which is like the dining room area, and it does get a lot of sun because this is, it is a very sunny area. So it does get a lot of sun, and so I should be on top of watering it. I think something I always toy around with is getting those watering sticks where you add the water, but I think I still would have the same problem. I literally just need to have a schedule, and I need to be on top of my watering. That is a 2026 thing to do. But these leaves are gorgeous. They're growing gorgeouser. That's not a word, but they are just absolutely gorgeous. This is an absolutely gorgeous plant. I think it's a plant that actually everyone should have because it's just so beautiful and easy to care for. Don't let this fool you. This plant is really, really easy to care for. If this was an alocasia, it'd be dead now. It'd be dead because alocasias don't play around. They're just like, you're not gonna, I'm out. So this is a very easy to care for plant and so very beautiful. Every time it's like different patterns, like God just splashes on each one of them. So it's just absolutely a beautiful plant. One of my faves that has not been cared for by me. So this is even, at this point I would have to be turning it around, and I have just not been on top of any of that. This even just have been on top of very little, but I'm excited to get back into things. Starting with this chopping. Honestly, I am conflicted about whether to start chopping or unravel it. A part of me that's extremely curious about this plant is like, just unravel it so you can see, So I'm gonna try unravel this plant. I do think an easier way for me to unravel it will be just to take the trellis out, but then putting it back in might be a bit of a trick. But I think that's what I'm gonna do. I think because the trellis and these green tie things have basically been holding this plant together. And you can even see the progression in these tape situations as the plant has grown and I've needed more stability. Ooh, this is a very long one. Or maybe they definitely were not as green as this one when I got it, but maybe they've also faded in time. Because I must have had this plant, I've had this plant for years, which I guess 2 years is also years. So that's not saying a lot, but I have had it for a very long time. Wow. Okay. Okay, there are more than 3 vines, 4 vines. Oh, that's a new vine. Okay, there's a lot going on. Okay, a lot of the baby, like the leaves at the bottom, have died out. To try show ya. It's like naked. Like once you remove these top vines, the top part of the vines, this plant is like naked. It's like naked, which means like a lot of these have shame. They have, Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna cut. I can feel that I do not have the patience for like what is required here, and I do have a little bucket that I'll fill with water. I think it was like a Kitty's packet because I just was like, you know, just get into it, just do it. And so I am doing it. And I also think there are going to be a lot of these. I think even my whole plan of trying to pot back is playing games. Like this is a vine that has no leaf or a very dead leaf. I think it's actually not going to be possible to do what I am trying to do. So I'm simply going to, I'll pot these up later. Let's just say I'll pot these up later once I get, once I get soil for them. Oh, this is cute. Okay, I'll leave them together. Did I chop this? Okay, I'm chopping it there. Ooh, let's see how long this is. Ooh. Okay, this was sizable. This was sizable. This was a sizable length. Okay, let's chop. There's another one that does not. Ooh. Okay. Yeah, a lot of these poor leaves fell due to neglect. So, and syngoniums really do enjoy water, I find. So yeah, so it's not good. Ooh, I'm not sure. Ooh, there's like a root. Okay, I'm just gonna go here. Okay, that's, I guess we're gonna, it's like so busy. Ooh, it is so busy in here. It's like chopped and chopped and chopped again. Yeah, hopefully that's the last time that section is being chopped, because, but I'm sure it would still grow. If one chopped it at the node, I think it would still grow. But anyway, okay, these all have leaves. That one too. Oh, okay. Okay, next is, this was also chopped before. Okay, so this grew from that. Ooh, this is such a nice, remember, like they have this thing about how to see if something's gonna have variegation is if the vine has variegation, which this has such nice variegation. But generally this plant, you really cannot go wrong with the Syngonium albo. I don't think I've had any green leaves, though I have had white leaves. So maybe I could blame these and say they were white leaves, which is not true. But the leaves have been, there have been some very white leaves recently, but they also have sized up quite a bit, which is also really great. So yeah, that's a good thing. But yes, I have been away to go to the elephant in the room. I have been away from YouTube for such a while, for like a year, and I had a whole tiz about like, ooh, what, you know, like the channel, what am I going to do with the channel, going back. And this year I've decided to come back, and I do have some plans for the year, which I'm excited about and actually wanted to chat about, because, you know, love, it's so nice to chat about like plans that you have. But anyway, to say, I guess the main thing to say is that I am back, hopefully for the long foreseeable future, you know, which I'm excited about. I am going to continue making planty content, but I want to expand. I mean, I've spoken about this for a very long time, making vegetable. I have tried to grow vegetables before, so that is going to be part of the planty content, is me once again. This is another year where I will be trying once more. Okay, this one also has, there are a lot of vines in here. Yeesh. Okay, I'm just gonna chop. Yeah, is to grow spinach. This might be the year where I finally manage to grow my veggies, but I am really excited to talk about my plants. That is something that I thoroughly missed about not having the channel, is that I could just be gushing about my plants, you know, which is part of enjoying a thing. Is this is a very, very, very bare stem. Part of enjoying something is talking about it and like praising it and enjoying it. And one of the videos I'm so very excited to make, which has been like the one of my favorite videos to make, which is like plants that I'm loving right now. And so, yeah, I've thoroughly missed talking about my plants. Look at how white this leaf is. And it's, yeah. So I am back for the foreseeable future to talk about my plants, to do my plant chores, because like I was saying, the plant chores that I've been getting done have been very minimal in the past year. I've just basically been keeping my plants alive, which has been great. It's great for them to stay alive. But yeah, I would like to do more than just keep most of them alive. You know, I'd like to do the things such as chopping them up, making them look pretty. Yeah, just enjoying them again. Enjoying them. I have not ever stopped enjoying them. I must not. But honestly, making plant content is work. I don't think that's a bad thing at all. It is work, and it does, I want to say put pressure on the hobby. Like it does, yes, it's really great to talk. Again, I've enjoyed talking about the plants. I don't think work is a bad thing, but it does put pressure on the hobby. I think that's the phrase that I'm going to stick with, because I can't think of a better phrase. And so there was a lot more, it was a lot more than I anticipated. Let me say that. It was a lot more than I anticipated, because I'm actually going back into it again. In going back to it again, I do feel more prepared for the a lotness of it, but also just spreading it and not just talking just about houseplants, I think will be helpful as well, because that also I think puts a strain on the houseplants if something has to be done to them every single week. Obviously on this channel, not obviously, I don't just talk about houseplant. I mean, I don't just do plant chores. So that means that the plants are also not just being stressed all the time. But yeah, there was an allotness that was unanticipated. And when I was done with because my resolution for 2024, 2025, okay, it wasn't a resolution, but in starting this channel, I said to myself, I'm going to do this for 52 weeks and then I'll see. And then I did do it for 52 weeks. And after that, I was like, I just went into a crisis with everything, but we're out of the crisis now. And now I'm back and I'm like, I actually thoroughly enjoyed making these videos. As much as the work was, I thoroughly enjoyed making these videos. I want to make a whole lot more of these videos. I do want to continue talking about plants. I do want to continue cutting plants. So actually what started this whole tirade was the fact that I did do very little, I did get very few. Oof. Okay, now we're getting to the jobby job part of things. Oh, yeah. There's a lot of job here. There's a lot of job. There's a lot more job. It's because it's so naked. Look at how naked it is without the top plants. It's like grown sideways. This definitely shows how not on top of turning these poor little plants I am. And I think part of the watering schedule should actually include turning plants. Yeah, so this plant is not looking great. Look at the back. It's really not looking great. But hopefully being back on the channel, being back on, these all are bare. Being back, okay, here are two. Okay, there were two. Being back on the channel will help more chores get done, because then I, so yeah, I'm excited to be back, excited for the year in general, not just planty things, but also for planty things, because like I'm saying, this will be the year where I finally managed to grow spinach. I tried last year again, even though I was doing minimal plant chores, I did try to grow some spinach and it also didn't work out. And I want to blame it on the nursery, not myself this time, because the spinach did have the white pest stuff on it, and then I just threw it out because I was like, I don't have energy. No, you keep that out of my house. So I ended up throwing that spinach. All that has survived in my attempting to grow edible food has been my mint, which then also took a turn for the worst. I actually must show you. So this is my poor little mint. And by the way, I had 2 mints because I just love the smell of mint. Oh, it just smells so nice. And this is also one of the things that I want to grow is mint and keep it alive. And just look at that bold head. Like, I was doing so well. One of the things that mint really, really loves is water. And I was doing so well with my watering of this mint. And then I went away for 3 weeks and then could only get somebody to come water the plants like once. And so the mint said, if you're not going to be serious, I'm not going to be serious either. But it did try. We do still have some mint, so it's not all bad. It's not great. It's not all bad though. So this is what has survived from my 2025 of attempting to grow my own growing edible plants. Because I guess I can grow plants. We've established that part. Now I'm trying to grow edible plants in my teeny tiny apartment. And so this is how far we are. And I guess the great thing about mint is that it grows back, but I don't know whether one is supposed to take out the brown stuff. I have not given myself time to think about that, but yes, this is how far I managed to get things done. So I do this 2020, in 2027, hopefully there'll be more success stories with regards to the edible side of the plant care. Wonder how, okay, so this is definitely detangling somewhat. Okay, I'm gonna cut this here. Okay, this leaf is not looking great. So I think I'm just, let's see. And this one is yellow. Oh, shame, this guy's leaves are not looking too terrible. Okay, I think I'm trying to do too much. And I need to, okay, let's see this one. Let's cut it here and go from there. Okay. Yeah, a lot of these ones' leaves have died as well, which is not a big deal. There are so many of these leafless nodes. And this bucket I really thought would go the distance, but it's not doing well now. And you might be wondering, because I've just realized how many plant leaves I have in there. You might be like, what is she going to do with all of that? That was actually on top of not getting a lot done with my plants in 2025, because I'm like, oh my goodness, where are we? 2025. I managed to sell a little because I was like, you know what? I just need to decrease the number of plants that live in this home. And so I really, really worked very hard. Obviously, all thanks to God, because, you know, that people did buy these plants, and I did sell a lot of plants. And that is also one of my 2026 things, is to sell a lot more plants, to start an online store, formalize this whole plant selling situation, which I thoroughly enjoyed. Used to wreck my nerves so much. It used to be so nerve-wracking, because even when I was doing the channel before, I was doing some plant selling, but it was just, I think, which is one, it just was I'd be like, oh, what if the customer, because the way in which traditionally, and which I did, like plant, like, I guess, I don't want to say plant growers, because that's a different thing to how nurseries buy from formal plant growers. And I guess I was growing my own plants to sell. And the way that people who do that, like a lot of people here on YouTube also be selling those plants, is you are selling a particular plant to people. And so you take a picture of that particular plant and then put it online. And then, you know what, sometimes the plants, like after you put them, because that's one of the things that I also want to change in my plant selling, is I actually want to formalize it and make it a nursery where you just have one picture and you're like, this is the type of plant. It's going to look something like this, but you're not buying a particular plant. Because then even if I had, let's say this plant's like in my mouth. Let's say I did have a plant and then sold it, and then that plant decided to take a turn for the worst in the weeks while it was listed on Facebook Marketplace. Then I had to have a whole conversation with the person about would they like this other plant instead, da, 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 da. Whereas in a formalized, these are the plants that we have type situation, people buy the plants that you have. They know that they're getting this plant, and you can sell whichever good looking one of that plant that you have, which I think is going to drastically reduce the amount of time it takes to sell a plant, because then I'm not having to every other day like be taking pictures of plants, because if you're selling plants on an individual basis, you do have to take pictures of all those plants. At a point I took 600 pictures of plants, and that used to be the limiting factor, honestly, because it just was a lot to get up and take plant pictures, and so I wouldn't do it, and then it'll be a whole thing. But I do want to formalize it. I do want to have a like online store where, you know, like a traditional online store of this is, you know, small, medium, large, da 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 da, and then you send people the plants. But honestly, people have been thoroughly like very kind, very reasonable, even in saying, you know what, because sometimes you post, because I was selling on Facebook Marketplace, on Bob Shop, and I also have a WhatsApp catalog, but the people find me from WhatsApp on Facebook. So basically, I guess those were my two main things. Those were my two main places of selling. And there was another site that I used to sell at, but they closed. And so where was I going? Just remember where I was going with this. So a big part is if something is sold on one site, right? In this whole like, in the nerve-wracking part about selling a particular item on 3 different sites, 2 or 3 different sites, is the fact that I could sell something on one site, which happened recently. I sold things on the one site, on Facebook Marketplace. I was happily selling things, and then forgot to take them off on the other side, because that's something you also have to be on top of, is like, you know, if something's sold, you need to take it off on other sites. And I just was not on top of that. And so then you'd be like, oh, sorry, actually this was sold, and I do not have this plant anymore, and would you like this replacement of this and this, and make it, you know, appetizing and stuff. So that was appetizing, I don't think that's the word. So I think having a form, like formalized, even if I'm selling on these different sites, all I need to keep stock of is the stock. That's all you need to keep stock of. So that's what I'm wanting to move my store to. I am formally putting a store online. I am doing it. That is one of the things that I'm doing this year. In fact, last year or the year, like I wanted to do it and then started doing it and then just chickened out. So this year I'm not chickening out. That is one of the things that I am doing, is formalizing my online store and running it for the whole year, no matter what happens. It's so nerve-wracking though to do it, but yes, I'm gonna still continue advertising on Facebook Marketplace, or like continue with that Facebook Marketplace spiel, and you know, the other site where I sell, and because to gain customers, I guess. And that has really been great. I did begin this whole spiel by saying how nerve-wracking it used to be, and that was why it used to be so hectic. Oh my goodness, this poor plant is so naked. It does need to be watered. I definitely want to add a couple of nodes in here. I want to add a couple of nodes in here too. I do have 4 plants growing out of here, which is crazy because 3 of them are from one node, which is again that whole thing like just God surprising you, and it's just so like bountiful and wonderful. So I would like to add maybe 4 more, like 2 on each side. I just am wondering whether I am done cutting. Let me cut to here. Okay. Let's just start from scratch. New year, new plant. You know, yeah. let's just, ooh, it's looking nakeder and nakeder. But yeah, it's also not, it is autumn now. Okay, I guess it's not a terrible, it's not the best time to be doing this, but yeah, I think the plant will still be fine if I am on top of the watering. I think that is the big main thing. Yeah, I was like, okay, let's just, okay, I'm gonna not cut this, shame. One of the OG leaves, I'm just gonna leave that leaf there. The others, for the most part, the leaves are gone. Okay, I'm not gonna go further than that. Oh, there's a, ooh, okay, ooh, okay. And then this guy, I will go to here. Okay, yeah, and then I need to water this, and I'm gonna water it now after I cut this, because I also do need to get water for these little propagations, and I think they actually should just all stay together on the table for now. Okay, oh, there's a leaf. There's one of the OG, I think it is one of the older leaves. Okay, so that guy, I'm just gonna put it in like that. Trusting that, you know, God has made particular plants to know what to do. So I'll just, you know, leave it at that, put it in, water it, water it. Yeah. Ooh. This was so much fun to do, also very necessary to do. And that is the last of the leaves. That is the last of the leafed nodes to go in. Okay, I am gonna water this. I need to water this. And I really have a lot of nodes. Look at all those nodes that need to be potted up. that need to be potted up, but at least half of the job is done. Oh, and this looks like such a cute bouquet. I like it. I like it. Okay, some of them are struggling to stay inside, but this has a cute little bouquet of, oh, and this, shame, this guy is naked. Naked. But we'll get better. We'll get better. Okay, I'm gonna water these. I'll be back. So this is the bouquet with water in it. Oh, and it does, I really think it looks pretty. I do think I need a different vase. Shall we call this little thing a vase? But I do need a different vase actually. But still, I'm happy. And I did bring some water for the mother plant and the seedlings that are gonna, seedlings? I got brain, my brain is on veggies and do. But I guess even these like small plants are called seedlings. But wow, this has really been dry. Like this poor plant has been dry. It's like there's no water coming out of the bottom. And I just put a whole liter of water in there. It's not good. It's not good on my side. Things to keep on top of. Plant schedule. Plant schedule is one of the things that I need to, my plant watering schedule, plant turning schedule. I need to be on top of things. Scheduling. Okay, that's part of my 2026 words. But anyway, that is it for today. I got my nodes that need to be planted as soon as I get soil. So I need to get soil, put soil together. Wow, I have a long list. So I will be making lots more videos with my long list of things that I'm going to be doing. One of the things I need to start, like, you know, my veggie garden. There is much to be done in 2026. So you guys will be seeing a lot more of me. But that is it for today. Thank you so much for watching. And I'll see you next time. Bye!